Welcome back to the soccer universe. This has been a very eventful week. How's it going, guys?
Well, I feel betrayed. I I was like I was I was going to Jersey and I read that, and then my roommate comes to me, what did you read about Super League? And he's actually, I think he's talking to his brother about that right now. But yeah, it's disappointing. Like, like there was the rumors going on a year ago or something. People are like, oh, the Super League would be so cool. Every week we'll have like a blockbuster game. But like now that it's real, it's not cool. It really isn't cool.
Yeah, so I saw like a post on like the Arsenal subreddit where Wenger kind of predicted this in like 2009. He's like, yeah, they're gonna have plans for a Super League. They're gonna try to push this, and I think the past couple years they've been kind of floating the idea and trying to like legitimize it by just like putting it out there. And so even even during that span of time, I've just never had like I don't know. This format works in American sports where you have like just a bunch of big franchises just in one league for themselves, no relegation, nothing. But I just think right now you're upending like an entire, you know, a continent's like structure of the sport. If that makes sense.
Those who don't really like know the exact what the Super League is going to be. So there are 12 founding members. All right. There are the six big six. I don't even know how Arsenal is a big six. I'm sorry, Archit, but like, yeah.
I don't think we are either. I think that's the dumbest thing. We're about to go to a league we're going to go from like 10th in the Premier League to like 12th in the Super League now.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't.
like
This doesn't help us.
but yeah, so there are the six big six from the English football. Then there is the big three: Atletico, Real, and Barcelona from Spanish league. And then Syria has Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Juventus. And these 12 members have jointly put out a statement saying that they are going to form a league and try to work in. They said that in the future they would like to work in relationship with and in contact with UEFA and FIFA so that there's no scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. But basically, it's supposed to boost. It is clearly supposed to boost revenue, and it's supposed to support these clubs because, according to them, if this pandemic has showed anything, it's that the economic structure of the current footballing industry is very fragile. So basically, save those who are rich about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like we have a massive money problem throughout all of soccer. So here's the solution. Let's just keep everybody else poor and give all the money to 12 clubs. Like this is like that whole trickle down economics bullshit. Sorry for cussing, but like this stuff doesn't work, you know? And it's been in vogue for years and years and it never worked. It will never work because it makes no sense on any economical
It
measure.
actually defeats the any core like value in trickle down economics because now you're placing like the idea before is that okay, you have all these big clubs in the same league as like you know the same league as like not Southampton. They're still technically a big club, but you know what I mean, right? Like
Mhm.
Norwich, smaller clubs, whatever, right? And you have like teams moving up and down the ladder. And so at before you could say like, okay, it's still good for a regional team to play like Man U in like a Carabao Cup game or something. It's good for their local economy as well for Man U to come. So that's how trickle down economics applies to the traditional footballing structure. Now they're placing a clear barrier under the top 12 and saying, okay, like this is only for us, and we also have no financial consequence if we don't play well.
What really pisses me off as well is that the fact that after the 12, apparently they're expecting three more teams to join the founding 15, and they're trying to persuade Bayern and PSG to come in because then that basically are all the biggest clubs in the world. And these 15 cannot get relegated. They cannot get. There is no there is nothing, there's no competition. It's like I was speaking to my brother and he's like, so I basically said that why are you trying to convert a sport, right, to a business? Because the second
Mhm.
you do that, all the players are nothing but assets. They're your employees. They aren't your players anymore. It's not the players who are doing, like, what's the point of them? They're just trying to make money, right? And you know what I find hilarious is that, like, the joint statement, they also said that they'll try whatever revenue they get, they will try to distribute it amongst non-participants. And we know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And even if it happens, it's going to be insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a joke. They're gonna like at best have a check to just what? They're just gonna give like Villarreal and all like West Ham and just hey, here's a check for not being in our league. That's not gonna happen.
No. And the worst thing is each and every member in the beginning are gonna get 3 billion? Yeah, something like that. 3 billion euros just for entering the tournament. And sure, let's say these clubs don't get banned from domestic tournaments and all those domestic tournaments are still going on, right? Great, good work. So we aren't really leaving out the history, but these teams can just buy all the best players then. Like, I don't know if them like you just there is no point to the sport anymore. You just have 15 teams playing all the time. There's no point.
No, why would you play a domestic league if you're going to play Real Madrid this weekend and then Juve the next and then Liverpool the next one? Like it doesn't make sense. All of the whole meritocracy of soccer. And yes, look, it hasn't been a real meritocracy in years because of all the money in the game, but still things are possible in soccer that aren't really possible in the American sports, right? Like Leicester can win the league. They can still do that. That is possible. This whole thing is just about okay, so we have 15 clubs that are the biggest clubs in the world. Nothing ever happens to them. They make money every week. Can you imagine this? Like you're getting $400 million right off the bat, right? Bayern last season for winning the Champions League won a quarter of that for winning the Champions League. Like, what is the point of even doing the other things, you know?
Yeah.
My issue is also there's no incentive to actually play well anymore. Now, because if you, for Arsenal fans, right, since like there's a stat that since 2014, 2013, there's been only 2 clubs who have not had a net like positive like amount of like money being stimulated by their owner, right? I don't know how to put it, but like net amount of money injected into the club by the owner. Only 2 clubs are not in the positive: Arsenal and Manchester United. Arsenal was at a solid 0 the entire time because of Kroenke, and Man U was negative somehow. Which like, and so if you think it's bad already though, now Arsenal now doesn't care if they get relegated or go to 10th or whatever because they'll be 12th in a league of 12 really good teams, and so or 11 really good teams in Arsenal, and so what I'm thinking is going to happen is this is going to end up becoming like they'll be like the Timberwolves or the Detroit Lions of their league, where they could be terrible forever, but the assets keep on growing and they're still protected, so there's no need to like, ever be ambitious with their signings or anything. They can just sit on their money forever and just let it grow.
And here's the crazy part about this too, is that like the other leagues or like the remaining teams, your Aston Villas, your Leicesters, your Southamptons, they're not going to be like college teams in the US because the money is all going to go into the Super League. All these leagues will not have the same revenue anymore. They will not have the same academy money. They will not be turning out prospects in the way they were before. It will create a whole different structure for like talent in soccer. It might be interesting to see like talent rising up from China now, like young English players going there to come up into the game, or going to South America and stuff like that, which is it's an interesting thing to think about, right? But and the most fucked up part is that like there are no good guys in this. FIFA and UEFA are some of the most corrupt organizations in the world, right? And now we have to stand here and like defend them when really they are kind of responsible for this even being a possibility right now. There's no winners in this thing.
I don't. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, so I like about FIFA and UEFA also being bad. Like I also read this comment online. I think I should share this because it's the other view, right? So to be completely honest with you all, FIFA and UEFA had it coming. They've been making shitloads of money off other clubs, hardworking for decades for the sole reason of having the European competitions in the name. So while other clubs did all the hard work, FIFA got off easy and ended up still making all the money just for their title. The Super League is just clubs going against this and trying to cut the FIFA and UEFA domination of European competitions. I'm not anywhere near saying this is something I agree to. To be honest, it's actually far from it. Just because we don't support it does not mean we can't try to see both sides of the story. FIFA and UEFA acting like they're the wonderful angels who are trying to save football when they've been making money off this shit for years while doing close to none of the actual work. Don't get your facts mixed up. Both sides want money. And the only reason FIFA and UEFA is in this is because it affects the bag they chase. Make sure to get your facts straight because one big thing FIFA has over all the other clubs is the support of the fans and the fact that the people are scared and are reluctant to change. So I mean, this is really important as well because of course I completely am against the Super League, but it is I think it's long due and we've realized like we've known for a while that there needs to be some reform, some kind of change that needs to come, and it is not correct that the rich just like take control. That's not the
Mhm.
right way to go. Then but then what is that's what I've been wondering since the Super League news came out. Like yes, UEFA and FIFA are corrupt. I mean, we know best example Qatar. Why is there a FIFA World Cup in Qatar when there are not even stadiums in Qatar? So I mean, it is one of the most corrupted organizations. But a Super League where you abandon every other club, that's all the smaller clubs that have worked so hard, that work every year so hard, just so you can save yourself, is not the way to go. It's disgraceful, to be honest.
Yeah, and the frustrating thing is, it. I don't know how to put it. So I don't know with like the soccer culture in England, right? You have like a local club or a regional club that you follow, and it's pretty much woven into like the area in which you're from. It's kind of like a from birth thing, and so for anybody who's born into like a area where you have like a major club, you have a Manchester United something, right? That's entirely taken away from them because
Mhm.
now it's not like oh Man U's coming to play our local team or vice versa, right? Now it's oh Real Madrid's coming, great. So I'm just gonna watch the game with some wealthy Man U fans and a bunch of tourists now.
Mhm.
It's not like it's not a community thing to like go to the game anymore because you also know ticket prices are gonna be jacked up from this.
Oh,
It
and
takes the
let's be
game away
honest.
from like local fans.
Yes. No, and let's be honest, has also this has the weird possibility of like just racism being piled up on it. Because it's as you said, like the local fans aren't gonna be like, well, this is the Man United I grew up with. This is the Man City I grew up with, right? This is the Chinese Man United now. This is the I don't know, it's the African Man United. It's all those because look, people here in Brazil, people in China, people in India, people all over the world, they're going to be like, okay, cool, let's watch this stuff, right? Because a lot of these leagues aren't going to be affected. Like, what's going to happen to the Brazilian league with this? Nothing. We're going to have, if anything, there might be more money put into here because the money is going to come out of the other European leagues, right? China, the same thing. We're going to be watching this thing, and then you have the possibility of local fans from England, from Spain, from Italy, just going like, oh, this is like an international club, fuck this, bara bara bara, all this stuff. Like the repercussions of this thing aren't just in the football world, they're social too. Football is culture.
Yeah, it takes out the value of like your own community and like the proximity in which you live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like there's this movie. It's is it a show? It's a TV show. My bad. On Netflix, that I'd seen. It's called The English Game. Um, it's 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 amazing. Y'all should. It's basically how professional football started in England. So it's how it went from just like a thing that people used to play to what football we know is how it is today. So they show how football is like how football the money aspect came to the football and how it was always the people who were rich, that the FA was always the rich kids, and the rich people were always they had their team of their own, and they always dominated it. They made the rules to their own benefit, and while the poorer people who needed, like, who started using football as a way of living for themselves. And then what happened through that was that the entire like for example Blackburn, right? If you come out of Blackburn, then simply because that football team struggled so much and reached where it is, right? The Blackburn community got so much stronger because of course there are going to be better teams in the world. There are players, there are teams like there are people who live in Wolves who've been supporting Wolves since they were in Division 3, Division 4. There are player teams that people have been supporting Norwich City since they've been down in the pits, right? But they were looking forward to, for example, last season when Norwich City played Manchester City, all Norwich City fans would join together as a community, as one like big family to watch the team beat Manchester City. Right now, we won't be able to witness things that are so beautiful. Right, we won't be able to witness Leicester winning the league against six of the biggest clubs in England. Right, we won't be able to see the kind of performances West Ham United is putting down this season. Right, all those things is what makes football what it is. That everyone has a chance. Right, as long as you put in the work, you have the chance. But here, no, it's not like that. You have the money, you have the chance. That's how it's become. It's and I also saw this. Apparently, it was reported that one of the owners, one of the board members of one of the six clubs in England, he basically said that our jobs are to maximize profits and revenues. He said that like covertly. It's not open. We don't know the name. And let me just play the clip. Actually, wait. I think that'd be better. All right.
The owner's view is this, and this is a quote from a board member at one of the six clubs. Our primary job is to maximize our revenues and profits. The wider good of the game is a secondary concern. So there we have it from the mouth of a board member at one of these six clubs. What they're in.
So that's from Sky Sports. And yeah, it's just literally the wider good of the game is a secondary concern. That just pisses me off. I'm like,
I'm sure that quote sounded great in Stan Kroenke's head before like going out loud. So I also have a question. Who do you because I don't really think this is like a smart move for a lot of these teams either. I know it maximizes revenue. But who do you think stands of the people in this equation? Who do you think stands to gain and lose from this of the teams? Because I'm thinking Real Madrid for one. I know Perez is kind of the mastermind behind this whole thing, which I don't know if I should be like disappointed because like I don't know. I've not a lot of respect for the guy, but I think he's like done a very impressive job. But I don't understand that why they're abandoning the one competition which they've been like pretty dominant in, right? They have all these years of Champions League history, and now it's kind of just diminished by moves that they themselves kind of put in motion. I feel like they definitely lose from this equation.
They're betting on fans' unconditional support. They're betting on the fact that people grew up with these clubs, like we were talking about, and now they're not going to abandon us just because we destroyed the way they like to watch soccer. That's what they're betting on.
But I'm saying all of their profile, like their soccer profile, has been built over years of playing in La Liga and playing in the Champions League. And I know the viewers will stay, but I'm sure Spanish viewers it's going to diminish. Sure, there might be an uptick in like Chinese and American viewers, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know how much you could bet on that, in my opinion.
What would you if I told you?
Think about it. You're betting on viewers who are incapable of going to games.
Yeah.
Or not incapable, but how many Americans and Chinese like tourists are going to be at games every week, like consistently?
Right.
And so they can only just watch, and there's also no infrastructure for them to watch on TV yet. All the contracts are so muddled.
If I gave you the option of like, you can make $50 million a season, and potentially 100, or you can make $400 million every year right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
It's just money. It's just it's the way the game has been going on for a long time, and it's just sad that it's reached this point.
I also looking at it, I think Chelsea and Manchester City do gain from this because I think a big chunk of their fans are international. Like, I don't think they lose a lot by like sacrificing local fans a bit. I don't see Atletico gaining from this, to be honest, because they just aren't in the financial playing field as all these other teams. And now instead of being like a top 3 contender, they're just going to consistently be a 15th contender and the second best team in the market, in a market that kind of hates them now to some extent due to this whole thing. I see it being a very poor move for them. The same goes for AC and Inter Milan and Juve, to be honest. I know the Agnellis are like the presidents of this thing, and I think Inter Milan's like chairman or board like president. I think he's also another VP. But yeah, I think they're setting themselves up not for failure because they'll make money, but I don't know how to put it. The only people I see expanding their profile is Man City and Chelsea here.
I feel like most of these clubs, from like let's say history starts now and Super League is a thing, right? I feel like so many of these clubs, 100 years down the line, will have no heritage, no history, nothing. They would have nothing. Like, that's all I can say. Like, sure, Inter Milan is a great team. Sure, United is a great team right now. But if you keep competing against the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, right? Those names, cities, Chelsea's, the entire time, that's not guaranteeing you 20 Premier League trophies, right? I feel like you need to look at it in terms of the football heritage does play a part, right? Now all these are big teams. Sure, like now that's exciting for like viewers who not really connected to the club as like from the home side of it. But you aren't like you're going into a completely different competition where you have no motivation to win in the first place, right? So it's not just the fact that they have difficult competition, it's just they have nothing to lose, so why would they bother? You know. And plus I feel like you said, I feel like they're betting on, like most of these clubs are betting on the fact that all their fans are their fans before they're football fans. Right. And I feel like that's a mistake. I feel like for me, football comes before Manchester United. I'm a football fan before I was a Manchester United fan. So
I absolutely agree.
So it's if this goes through, United is in the UEFA Super League, I would just do illegal streams because that's free.
Well, the problem with that though is, okay, so like my real club is São Paulo here in Brazil. That's like the club I grew up with, and I only watch soccer because I was watching these guys. You know, when I was a baby, my dad would like show me news reports of them winning stuff, and that's like I fell in love with soccer because of them. Now imagine if that is Chelsea for you, right? It's not the same as like we've adopted Manchester United as our club, right? It didn't come as we were born. It's not a family thing, you know. Imagine how much that would hurt, like, because I couldn't imagine not being a São Paulo fan anymore. That would just be like, why am I even watching soccer anymore?
Yeah, my thing is, let's say you're like me, right, and you support Arsenal, or like you're like any of us. You support Arsenal or Man U from like abroad. Sure, I guess it's kind of cool in the short term. You see all these teams play against each other on TV. However, you only have a very niche group of people who can consistently go to games. Like, who's a season ticket holder when games are literally spread across the entire continent? Only the most wealthy of like people can actually be season ticket holders, which is fine in the short term, but also nobody in the Manchester area has any and like grows up with any incentive to watch Man U. Because if you're lower class, it's not a cheap option anymore. It's not like, because honestly, the most commendable thing prior to this about the English soccer structure is that games are relatively cheap. You can pay 30, 40 pounds and you'll be able to get into a game. So it makes it accessible to a wide audience. In the future, like just, I don't know, like lower class, middle class viewers, they won't be able to go to games. So they're just going to gradually start shifting away from these like Manchester United, Real Madrid. If you're, on the lower level, like, like it's like income like ladder, right, in Madrid, you don't have the time, you don't have the facilities to constantly watch Madrid, Chelsea, Madrid, Man U. So I don't know, you're definitely like isolating out like the poorer fans of the game as well. And also, as I was saying before, I was saying before, like if Arsenal does go through with this, I'm in the same boat. Like the only team I've ever been born into are the Jets and the Knicks, and they've done far worse, and somehow kept my support. But this, like, I could give up on Arsenal if I had to, if they like do something like this.
No, so the one club team that for me is like at home properly as like a cricket team, Mumbai Indians, right? And like now that I think about it, like if let's say Mumbai does this, I mean, cricket isn't really a club sport; it's more like an international sport. But let's say that it was a club sport and Mumbai does something like this, bro. I don't know what I do. Like, what do you do? Like, there have been so many. Like, I have been watching them since like 10 years now. I've been watching football for like 5. Right? And I go to so many games of Mumbai Indians, but I've never been to a game of Manchester United. I've never been to a football game, period.
Mm-hmm.
So I can like I can imagine like because I'm attached to Mumbai because I've been in the stadium. I've been in the stadium not once, not twice, like 50, 60 times.
Wow.
That would suck.
But you should think about it like this, right? Let's say like, you know, I mean, we're all like NYU students. We all have reasonable amount of like facilities to have gone to the school. I'll just put it that way. But let's say you don't really have that opportunity. You're just living in India your whole life, and ticket prices jack up like threefold. Then, then you don't really have a choice. It's like, okay, if I want to stay with Mumbai Indians, I'm sacrificing a lot to go to a single game or something. So now it's like I kind of have to turn to my local, like whatever local team, local option, or like just something else entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's just like even if you want to, you'll just be not able to.
Also, my thing is, how do you think like Ronaldo and Messi, for example, feel about this? The reason I'm asking is because can you imagine their whole career? They have all these stats piled up. All their accomplishments are La Liga Golden Boot, Champions League Golden Boot, whatever, top scorer. Cristiano's best accomplishment is, what's called having the most like top scorers in the Champions League, like most Champions League Golden Boots, all those like goal tallies, whatever, right? That's kind of defeated from a legacy perspective now. Because people will now start holding it up as, oh, you're only scoring in La Liga against like Villarreal and Real Betis, not Chelsea and Madrid every week.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine like 60 years down the lane, my kids go like, yo, Ronaldo and Messi were just stat padding scoring against Villarreal and Sevilla. They aren't greatest of all time.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think players will really enjoy this either.
We hope not, right? Because an interesting part of this equation is that FIFA and UEFA have kind of given the players a lot of power right now, because they said the players in these clubs are banned from the World Cup and from the Euros. Yeah. So if the players stand up against the clubs, what are the clubs going to do?
They don't have a choice. Like, if the players don't play, they don't have any.
Yeah, I can see some players wanting to they'll be willing to pass on their national teams. I cannot see a lot of Brazilian or like African players. I do not see them like taking that chance. You know what I mean?
No,
it's national team first and foremost.
I can't see Mo Salah going like, "Oh, I'm fine with not playing for Egypt."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, or even Messi. Like Messi isn't loved in Argentina as much. Looms larger than Messi's. Imagine if Messi just says, "Well, fuck you, I'm off. No more national team for me. I just want to play in the Super League." That's gonna create a whole another problem, you know? These guys aren't that insulated, these players. And it's interesting that like Neymar isn't in this equation, Mbappe isn't in this equation, and Haaland is in this equation. So like probably the best player in the world outside of Ronaldo and Messi, and then the two guys that are supposed to carry the torch for the next generation, they're not there. How are they gonna cope with that, the Super League, you know?
I want to say regarding that, right? I think it's a really smart move by PSG and Bayern and Borussia, because PSG, they know that, we literally have let's say they lose a little bit of the international market because, what's called all these fans are going to the Super League and they're not part of it. They pretty much have France just kind of monopolized at that point, because they have the number one, most marketable player, most marketable French athlete there is. They have top 3 most marketable athlete in the world in Neymar, right? So they already have their international and local appeal set, and they're also PSG, and they're also financially run their league. They know that for them, they can just stay perfectly. You know what I mean? They don't need to go to a Super League and they're perfectly happy competing against. Yeah,
because it was, well, PSG is owned by an oil baron or whatever. They destroyed the French league. All of a sudden now PSG saved the French league.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
I feel like the others in the French league would be very happy if PSG goes. Never mind, it's just a joke. It's just a joke.
No, I'm sure they wouldn't mind it at all. But I think, like, I don't know. It is good for that. It is good for League One in the long run, having just some stars there. Also, with regards to the Bundesliga, it's smart for Bayern too, because they get all the best players in the Bundesliga at like a discount. All these clubs are like intertwined together. They also have pretty strict ownership rules that mean like you can't have a billion sponsors running your teams. So yeah, Bayern knows that Bayern and PSG understand that we can just keep our markets. Our countries will still be like faithful to us as a club, and then the league in which we operate.
And the thing about Bayern though, right? I don't feel like Bayern even needs more money. I think Bayern is one of the smartest run clubs on the planet, right? They buy their recruitment process, their like infrastructure, everything is world class. I think they arguably have the best recruitment, like what is the thing? History of the past like 25 years. I feel like they buy players, they see potential, the scouting is brilliant, and instead of being like a Chelsea that just buys the most expensive player on the market when needed, they are smart in that way. And maybe that's one of the reasons why that's something that played on them, and they're like, we don't need more money and we aren't going to betray our fans simply to go chase something we don't need.
And
also, they don't stand to gain much long term. Like, they won't maintain their status as Bayern Munich if they just play in a Super League.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ron?
No, also, like, the Bundesliga has very strict rules about ownership of clubs, right? So 51% of the clubs are like, let me rephrase that. The clubs are owned 51% by fans. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
of the stake of the clubs, belongs to the fans. So that is like the purest league that we have nowadays when it comes.
I'd like to apologize for some technical issues. And that's fully on me. The downfalls of not having a Zoom Pro account, unfortunately. But yeah, so as we're saying,
Ed Woodward was hearing us. They cut out our meeting.
Yeah, oh my God. The powers that be, they don't want us speaking the truth here.
Yeah, that reminds me that Ed Woodward and even the Juventus chairman, they all stepped down from their positions in the European UEFA, whatever position they had. Well, good for you, bro. I mean, what do I say? Good for you.
It's a game of chicken now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's just going to make their moves and see who caves in first. Like FIFA and UEFA saying we're banning all the players from the World Cup and Euros. That's not that's not going to be, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to stay there for a long time.
And
that's my thing. I think this is going to go through because, I mean, as much as I want FIFA and UEFA to kind of stay headstrong here, they know they can't have a World Cup without Ronaldo or Messi.
Yeah.
They know that's not possible.
They know they can't have there's no way they don't let Benzema, Courtois, Cruz, Modric, Messi, Griezmann, Piqué, Ramos, Ter Stegen, Rashford. Bro, he has an MB. He's an MBE. It's Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane. You can't not have these players in the World Cup. And I feel like simply because of the fact these are the big clubs with the big players, they have an advantage. The ESL has an advantage. It kind of sucks, but they do. And I feel like I don't know what to say.
Yeah, England's gonna really want to have all those players on their side, honestly, though, it'd be a fun World Cup. Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho versus whatever Spanish players remain.
I mean, Danny Ings, Jadon Sancho, no, Patrick Bamford, Jadon Sancho, Grealish, Madison, Harvey Barnes
versus Iago Aspas, Oyarzabal. Who else?
Jesse Lingard. But he's contracted to Manchester United.
Yeah, so this is one of the first things I realized. Let's say all these teams are taken out of the Premier League right now. Who wins? Think about it. Who ends up being the best player in England?
Oh shit! Really? I think it's Grealish though. I think it's Grealish.
Yeah, but who's higher
But
in the
let's say
standings?
West Ham win the league,
That's what I'm saying.
right?
Lingard. I don't think it's Lingard.
I honestly, if this all fully goes through, I might just be pulling hard for West Ham in the future. I just think like
legit, West Ham's gonna be my team. Even on Football Manager 2020, I just started career with West Ham.
oh yeah, I was a FIFA careers with West Ham. For some reason, Felipe Anderson is the best FIFA player.
He is, right?
He's
he
insane.
Is so good. Even on Football Manager, he's so good. It's actually brilliant.
No, he's something else. He just dances around CPU defenders.
What happened to him? What happened to Felipe Anderson? I don't know. Where is he?
I have a weird Felipe Anderson adjacent story because I used to play basketball with his girlfriend, but like
what?
we can get into that later.
Oh, you heard what?
So I used to play basketball at this. Anyways, she was like there all the time. I knew her. We played basketball together. She was fun. I think they broke up now. So
why did it break up, friend? Did the basketball
in the back? Let's not get into this.
Oh my god!
Do you think this is why he fell off in the last couple of years?
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh my god!
That's actually insane. I did not expect this to get here.
But, yeah.
So I'm thinking this though. I feel like the one way this can be stopped is actually not sanctions, because UEFA and FIFA aren't going to be able to implement those sanctions as much as they'd like to threaten people with. I feel like the only one way is like fans and players standing up against it, right?
Yes.
And I feel like not even players. I think there are just two players you need to go ahead and tell their team that we aren't playing in this tournament. Ronaldo and Messi. These two just straight up go and tell, we aren't playing in this tournament. It's all go. All players are going to follow them. There's no one not going to follow them.
Can I be honest? I don't think they're going to do it. They're not that vocal when it comes to like.
Exactly.
They're great players, and I like to kind of assume good people, but even that's shaky. But here's the thing. They're not that vocal about social issues ever. The only time I've ever seen any of them take hard stance is recently Ronaldo's camp. They said, like, we won't be doing promotional events in Saudi Arabia. Or they started like, oh, no. It was they denied endorsements for the Saudi Arabian government. So, like, Ronaldo getting, like, sponsored by the government. And they're like, no, we won't do that.
That's a heart of gold right there. Heart of gold.
Right? So that's the only hard stance they've ever taken. So I don't see them, I don't know. I don't see them being very vocal later.
Bruno did put something up on his story. Yeah. He put like money can't buy something.
He said dreams cannot be bought, which is a nice sentiment, but
yeah, it is. But it's like not obvious. You need to literally you need to be obvious. You can't like.
The problem is
on the bush.
It's a conflict of interest because his board is on. They're the ones pushing for this. You know, what can he say? This is the team that like pretty much bought him, is paying his contract. Right now, the only voice of the people at the moment is Ander Herrera for some reason.
What Ander Herrera say?
I think he's the most like
nice statement.
He put out a pretty scathing like statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
On Twitter or Instagram? Let me check.
I think both.
Let's go, my G. And he's put up. Oh no, I don't see anything. No, okay, never mind. I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it actually because
wait, he did. Yeah, Noah La Super League Europe.
No, he said.
I don't really understand the English. So
no, he had a
the last is Spanish. Too. Oh, French. What is this? No, I think it's French. And then it is in France.
I'm just gonna read the last sentence. I'll leave this last sentence of his quote because there's a little bit, but he said, "I love football and I cannot remain silent about this. I believe in an improved Champions League, but not in the rich ceiling what the people created, which is nothing other than the most beautiful sport on the planet."
Oh.
And then he himself said, if this European Super League advances, those dreams are over. The illusions of the fans of the teams that are not giants of being able to win on the field, competing in the best competitions will end. I feel like the translator probably didn't made that a little bit wonky, but yeah.
Can I just say, because of that, and Herrera gets my follow.
There we go.
Nice.
Now it's easy for him to say that, right?
It
Because
is great.
for PSG, we need players and Man United. Bruno, he showed that he's not for it, but like he needs to come out and really say it. Rashford the same. Rashford has such an influence in England. He needs to come out and say something. If assuming he actually doesn't support it, I don't know, right? The managers of these clubs are in such a precarious position. I know Yashish will want to get into that later, but like the managers are in a bad spot right now because they're the ones who communicate from the board to the public, right? What are they supposed to do? Can they express their own opinions?
What do they
It's
say?
interesting that-
Like,
Yeah, you can't say anything. I saw Tuchel speaking today. He was saying that even if I had an opinion, I wouldn't say it right now. Like,
I
you're
don't
in a
blame
bad
him.
water. Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting that this is going political now because Macron, the president of France, is into this. Boris Johnson is speaking out against this.
I should never find myself aligning with Boris Johnson. I should never see myself in that position, but that's where this has put me. Because even Boris understands, because he knows, like, it's either, you keep all the revenue going to the Barclays Premier League, like an English institution, right? Or all the clubs just trap it for themselves. And so he stands to lose a lot from this. Same with Macron.
Mm-hmm.
These are big revenue draws for these countries.
Exactly. But like when it comes to what managers can say, I'm really interested about. So it's Leeds versus Liverpool today, right? I'm so interested about the post-match interview because I can guarantee it's not really going to be about the game itself.
Yeah.
No.
It's really not going to be about the game. Jurgen Klopp is going to have a tough time.
I don't think.
If the journalists do their job right for once, then he's going to have a tough time.
I think he's just going to be batting away as many questions as he can. Like, I'm not qualified to speak on this at the moment. Blah, blah,
I
blah.
can't speak today. The wind is too strong. Excuses.
My players are injured. I have no thoughts on the Super League.
Yeah.
Yeah, Klopp is not going to have a fun press conference, but
Yeah.
he probably has a billion PR statements being read to him right now.
Yep.
For sure.
It's gonna be interesting.
Now, what can we do as fans? Because a lot of
For
the
one-
power hinges on us right now, right?
For one, if this fully goes through, like it's confirmed, like right, all these like whatever Champions League falls apart, they end the season, these things like start rolling into place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. As much as it sucks, I guess I'm done with watching Real Madrid and Arsenal because it won't be fun anymore for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't see the point in it. Like, it's a sport, right? I'm watching it right now because I enjoyed this sport, football. And Manchester United is that one team that my enjoyment of sport revolved around. But if that team decides to not play the sport anymore and turn into a business model, you're not watching me look at Elon Musk's Tesla interviews. I love Elon Musk, but I'm not looking at his interviews right now.
Yeah.
Tesla fanboys bringing Elon Musk into everything. My thing is with Arsenal, right? They're my favorite Premier League club because they have a certain personality to them, right? They're not always good. They're often not. However, they have a very like distinct personality and like aura around them, right? They they like to play beautiful football, right? They like to, at least for the longest time, like to hold on to managers for like long term, right? Very offensive kind of team and very people oriented team for a decent amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what made them attractive to me, right? And then now they're just a team that plays in the League of 15. There's no they had a unique Premier League history, an undefeated season, right? All of this. But now they're just a red team.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And there's really no more like enjoyment.
No, I was watching the Man United game this weekend against Burnley, right? Man United win at the end. That was cool. And then I was looking at the league table. Man United are 8 points off Man City at the top. And there's like 6 games left. And I was doing like all the math, like, wow, if City lose 3 games, Man United can catch up and this and that, whatever. And then 2 hours later, the news of the Super League come out, and I'm like, well, it doesn't matter anymore, right? It's the same for me. I won't be watching Man United games anymore. I won't support them. I think what fans can do is like watch different leagues, right? Latin America stands to gain a lot from this. Like, there's a lot of great players here, a lot of great football being played. People can watch our leagues now. China too, you know. It's been the butt of a joke for a while now, but there's a lot of good players in China, you know, and they're
Yeah.
trying to make investments to make the league better. I know the league, the Indian league is also making a lot of investments. There are teams in Africa. In a side conversation, I think the president of FIFA was trying to organize a super league in Africa, you know, which is
That'd be a good time to watch.
right?
That'd be a fun league.
And so, like, yeah, what we can do is like go for other teams. The Bundesliga is a great league to support right now because they're not joining. They're not joining this thing. I hope.
I also don't think, like switching your support doesn't have to be an active stance. It's like, oh, I'm forcing myself to do something, right? Because for me, I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to like care less about Arsenal at this point. I just feel like it's natural. I'm just not that into it right now. It's not as fun. It's the same with like Real Madrid is not as interesting to me because they're not like the Champions League, like, for their image is like the emperors of the Champions League, in my opinion, right? They have all these great players, the Galacticos, right? It's all diminished now. It's just they're a team that plays in white, Arsenal's a team that plays in red. There's no fun for it. And so I feel like people who are now get priced out of their games because, local fans who don't want to buy like a European Super League streaming service or like, don't want to pay like $300 for a match day ticket. They'll just slowly start shifting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, by the way, for our next segment, at least for me, because I'm pretty much a blank slate at this point, I'm taking any new suggestions in case this goes through.
Yeah, I was thinking like, what if this week, right? As our stance as the Soccer Universe podcast, we don't watch the 12 teams that decided to go ahead with this. So you can watch another team in the Premier League itself. Fair enough. You can watch a Burnley Leeds game, right? Who doesn't like that? Or we can go in Bundesliga, but just not the 12 traitors.
No, I'm saying I'm open to suggestions now. Like I'm saying like I'm literally browsing through different leagues, just seeing like what would be a cool team to follow.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wait, maybe just watch the championship. The championship is such a brilliant tournament. The championship is actually really good.
Guys, I do have a proposition. The Elite Serie N.
Wait,
you know what league that is?
What's that?
That's Norway.
Oh, let's go. Okay, you know what? Molde, my team.
Molde? That's who you're going for?
Molde.
I need to like figure out a team, but I need to know their names first.
You know what we need? We need Solskjaer to stand up against this and become the hero that Norway deserves.
Yes. Oh, okay, let's go. We've been checking out teams, I guess.
These guys seem kind of cool.
Oh yeah, damn. All right, cool.
They have cool logos. Cool. Look at this artwork.
All right.
Look, see, this is a sign right
Arsene
here.
Wenger. Oh shit.
This is a sign.
Alright, oh wait, no.
No. This looks like a cool team. I can get behind these guys.
Yeah,
they have crazy artwork.
Yeah, they do, bro. The artwork's mad. Yo, the stadium's also huge. Wait, what?
This looks like a fun game to be at. Who's a mascot?
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh my god.
So one option is Viking FK Stavanger. That's one choice. Fran, what suggestions would you have in Brazil?
In Brazil,
São Paulo, of course.
São Paulo. Just as the Brazilian. What was the Brazilian league called again? Is it just that?
Well, we call it Brasileirão, which is like the big Brazilian league, but you can call it Serie A or
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go with interesting.
So Vinicius came from Flamengo, so that's an option.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Neymar comes from Santos, so does Rodrigo, so that could be fun.
Kaká, Casemiro from São Paulo.
Okay, those are two selling ones. I like those.
right?
Yeah, I think I'll go with Sao Paulo because we support United, so I guess I should support the
Yeah, we'll have the San Paulo trade, and also I'm thinking if I'm watching a league that doesn't have a relegation system, it's super Americanized anyway.
yeah.
I might as well have local incentive.
Oh shit! Bro, let's go MLS. Let's go.
If I'm watching an over Americanized version of the sport, I'll just watch the American version of the sport. That's the point.
Yo,
And also my two
NYCFC.
options are kind of letting me down right now.
It's fine. It's just one game.
Yeah.
Game.
So
I'm gonna go with NYCFC.
are you going to see
Arshad, let's go watch a game together.
I'm down. Yankee Stadium? That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
They play the games like okay, so Red Bulls play in New Jersey. So they have my support there. Let's see who we're working with.
All right. I like okay. Saloi seems like a goal scorer.
Okay. He scored a goal, so sure.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna research on these players so that I know who I'm supporting.
All right, here's our homework.
Yeah,
I mean, Frank, you can stick with Sao Paulo. Yashish, we're gonna come back with the team next week.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes. All right. But before we go ahead, I want to talk about a certain manager who has been really important to the sport for the last has played a huge role in every aspect of the sport in the last few years. Jose Mourinho got sacked since he joined Spurs. If you like do the points accumulation, since he's joined Spurs are fourth in the league. Since he's joined Spurs, I'm repeating that. He helped them reach a cup final, right, which is in a week. They've been having defensive issues which aren't entirely Mourinho's fault at times because the players tend to make mistakes or forget about marking a player. So sure, we have been making fun of Mourinho, right? We have been going like, oh, he's finished, he's that, right? But do you think for a club like Spurs, right, who've never really achieved anything anyway, right, for the last like 20, 25 years, do you think it's fair to sack Mourinho right now? If, let's say, they sacked him for his performances.
Say what you want to say, Ashish. Go out there and say
it. Makes no sense. Why would you sack your manager who has one trophy, who has one of the best records in finals, 1 week before the final? Okay, if you want to sack him for his performances, sack him like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Give your time, give your new manager, Ryan, whatever his name is, give him some time to build a team for the finals. Don't sack one of the greatest managers of all time a week before a major final, a major trophy that your team has. The only reason I could see is two reasons. Either Daniel Levy is freaking stupid, or Mourinho expressed his concerns against the Super League. Mourinho expressed his concerns against the Super League.
Yeah, keep in mind.
Only two reasons why I think he could have been sacked.
Mourinho has ties to FIFA, and he has ties to Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Both of them should, like, in their own interest, should be actively against this. Sky Sports wants to keep on broadcasting Premier League games, wants to keep having the English market instead of whatever replaces it. And FIFA obviously hates this. Mourinho has a lot going against this. Besides just like, personal like values, whatever, right?
Yep. So like, if it's true, my respect for Mourinho is at a different level right now. Like, I'm assuming that it's true because I don't see why Spurs would sure they're 6th or 7th in the league, right? But you are freaking Tottenham Hotspurs. What do you expect? Do you expect to win the league every year? Who the hell does Daniel Levy think he is?
I can get behind this.
He thinks he's the greatest manager of all, greatest board director of all time.
I hate that man. I hate him with a passion, to be honest. I think he insanely overvalues his own play. He doesn't know how to sell. That's my biggest issue with him.
No, and also, if you're planning the Super League, because let's be honest, this thing has been the plans for these things have been going on for months now, right? So why does Daniel Levy care if Spurs finish in the top 4? Right?
Exactly.
think about it like this: they just invested in an extremely expensive stadium for themselves, right? And they're
They
kind
look
of
at like 400 million anyway.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what
They're instead of slowly climbing out of that debt, which most teams do after investing in a new stadium, they just decided, hey, this is a free financial windfall that will just take care of it easy.
Yeah.
And so now they can just keep on hosting NFL games in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Great.
Same for Barcelona. Barcelona is over $1 billion in debt right now. It's super easy to just take the free money.
Yeah, and also like Daniel Levy, I don't know why people on like Reddit and Twitter seem to be like surprised because they think they're confusing the fact that he's stubborn with like being principled, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they confuse his personality traits because they're like, oh, I didn't expect Daniel Levy to like, abandon the Premier League like this. Like, dude, this is the stingiest man in the entire sport. I should not be surprised. I'm more shocked that, at least a little bit shocked that Perez was such an active, like, mastermind behind this. Pushing for it is one thing. I did not think he'd be like the chairman and just come out on top here. It was crazy to me.
Yeah, because then he's making himself like a possible scapegoat, Like
think about it. They're besides Man U, they're probably the most valuable team in that league, right? In the new Super League. He's now okay, for an American example, he's the combo of Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell of the situation, both commissioner and owner.
Yeah.
That's an insane level of autonomy that like I don't
know. But on a slightly separate note, where was that? Hansi Flick, right? I'm just, the thing is, I don't even like. It's gonna be PSG and Bayern playing the Champions League finals every year for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Unless Dortmund, like, I don't even know.
The good players stay at PSG and Bayern, right?
What if, because Mbappe has been linked with Real.
Mbappe to West Ham? Are we
let's go Mbappe. You know what? Mbappe to West Ham. I'm all in for it. Bro, imagine Mbappe finally getting to play with the greatest player of all time. Finally.
Dude, honestly, the perfect like just narrative is that FIFA bans any of these Super League players from winning any like individual awards and bans any Super League like from factoring into the Ballon d'Or or anything.
Yeah.
West Ham slowly surges to the top by the end of the season with one man leading them. And if you carry the West Ham to the Premier League, you should be eligible to a Ballon d'Or. There won't be any competition anyway. It'll just be top on the stage, probably Holland or Mbappe holding it, and then just like the other one, and then Lingard. Just.
Oh my god, that's mad. This is mad. This feels a lot like in F1. Let's say you're a very talented driver, maybe one of the best out there, right? But F1 is a very money-oriented sport, right? If you have the money, even if you're not one of the best of drivers, and your father has a lot of money, or you're sponsored by someone who can bring in let's say $40 million into the business, into the F1 team, you get the chance over the team, the player, the person who has the more like ability, and it's basically like money talks in F1. And so we've kind of known that's how it is in football as well, but now it's becoming so much more like, oh, we have the money, we're going to rule the world.
Yeah.
Another thing that pissed me off was apparently someone posted, I saw this poster, apparently someone said that, oh, if they ban our players from the World Cup, we'll make our own World Cup.
No.
And I'm like, what did you just say? What did you just say? Like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, sure, you can be as rich as you want, but there are some things that the fans control. There are some things that the players control. They don't want to like represent their fake countries in a fake World Cup.
Yeah. Jesus, that's disgusting.
It's insanely elitist. Now I'm thinking about it. Just a league with all the like most populated and wealthy cities in Europe, more than anything. I don't know. Like, who will actually be in the stadiums? It's just gonna be tourists and like, I don't know, like influencers. Just like the most
Bundesliga
like
stadiums are going to be so beautiful. They already are. They're already like one of the Turkish and Bundesliga. Oh, Turkey! Come to Fenerbahce.
honestly, I see so many comments on any like Bleacher Report post, just constant Galatasaray, Besiktas, just in all caps.
You know
And I
what?
think
No. I've decided Turkey. I think the Turkish league is actually really good, right? The Turkish league is actually really good, and MLS. I'm gonna start watching these two. Then I'm gonna go to Brazil. Then I'm gonna go to Portugal maybe. There's a lot. Let's
so.
think.
Right now, I'm making. I mean, Sao Paulo is already. Obviously, I'm born into it. It's
Oh
a.
yeah,
It's.
it's my thing. It's my thing.
See, I'm bound to Sao Paulo by blood now. But as for the MLS, I'm trying to make a decision between the New York Red Bulls and New York City FC, and that's
I'm
the.
going to New York City. I don't want to support a Red Bull team.
Yeah, honestly, okay. Look, say what you will about them being called that. They have kind of cool uniforms for a team sponsored by an energy drink.
True.
Like, it shouldn't look good, but it kind of does with the Bulls.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can see that.
Actually, no, it's actually sick. Bro.
And then this is the other option. Oh wait, not NYCDC. So this just reminds me of watching Manchester City.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does.
You kind of just feel like
CFC. But I don't really care about City now. Like, I mean, they're trash. Like,
the blue is a good color. That's sky blue.
What if we support David Beckham's team, Miami? What about Miami? What?
I mean, I'm gonna go local for MLS
Inter
for sure.
Miami. Inter Miami. Bro, it'd be so much fun to go watch. Bro, let's go with Inter Miami.
I want to watch a game though. That's my biggest goal.
Yeah, okay. I love Brad. Yeah, done.
Wait, Higuain, I forgot he was here.
Yeah.
I fully did not register that.
Yo, this is gonna be okay. This week's gonna be really interesting for me. This week's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a bit of soul searching this week.
Yeah.
But I didn't even think of it in the same. No, because we were looking at Red Bulls, right? Basically, what these clubs have done now is just escalate that. Man United is not Manchester, the city. It's just Manchester United, the brand, as much as Red Bull is a brand, right?
Yeah.
They looked at Red Bull buying into clubs and putting their names on clubs, and they're like, well, we can be a bigger brand than that because we already have the name recognition. It's a dystopic situation. It's like
it's scary, man.
Yeah.
But look, at least like now that I feel like there's no like personality or like real appeal, or like I don't know how to put it, like a substantial appeal besides like, oh, we're a soccer team, right? The reason I'm just thinking MLS is at least like, look, I'm trying to see where the arena is. I'm pretty sure it's in North Jersey. Well, yeah, Harrison, New Jersey. Not the best area. I don't mind supporting a team that brings in like revenue and like, just people coming into like a pretty bad part of Jersey and like at least improving economically in some way. At least I can, stand by that to some level, even if it's an energy drink doing it.
Yeah, I get that. Interesting. But yeah, I think personally, I feel like my final words would be like, we know that the governing bodies that currently control football are corrupted and aren't really great. But if clubs just take the situation into their own hands, they are basically implementing anarchy, right? You'd rather try to fix an existing domestic governing system inside the sport, which maintains the cultural aspects of it while making sure that the reason why the fans watch the sport continues to stay. Instead of converting the sport to a business and the players to an asset, you try to improve what is already there. Sure, both are evil, but giving into greed is not the way to move forward. That's about it. I hope that the players realize that, the managers realize that, because the board, let's be honest, the board's job is to make sure the club survives and does well financially as well. But it's up to the players to maintain the beauty of the sport. It's the beautiful game for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Yeah.
Do we want to do quick fire predictions for the Champions League, or does that even not matter?
Does the Champions League still exist?
PSG versus City is actually I think whoever wins that game wins the Champions League.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like PSG goes through though. I think they just have more firepower than City.
Yeah, I also think both those teams are just so much better, like filled out squad wise. Whereas Real Madrid has so many injuries. Like they put in who's this guy, Schust, and like just all these youth academy guys recently. I don't know. They're very understaffed right now.
Yep, I get that. And I think Real Madrid is Chelsea. I actually back Chelsea for this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm backing Chelsea here because I think Real Madrid is they have very fragile squad at this point.
Yeah, exactly. They can break apart really easily, whereas Chelsea are more like there is a sense of organization in them that Tuchel has instilled, which I think is the midfield strong, the defense is strong. Werner has started to pick up pace. Howard's started finding his feet finally. Pulisic is starting to find his feet. So it's the forward line is also starting to work out really well. So I think Chelsea will probably win the game. But I think both games are going to be really close. But I don't think the final is going to be close.
If the games end up standing, I think they're going to be close as well.
if
yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's it, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Sao Paulo, I guess, and also the Norwegian League, Viking FK.
Yes, Molde. Let's go. We'll see you next week in the soccer universe.
Yeah, hopefully this episode becomes redundant because none of this goes through. But
yeah,
I doubt it, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
See you guys next week.